Hello friends, this is the master passage dictation of grade C held on 26 April 2023. The speed of the dictation will be 100 word per minute. There would be some fluctuation. We would start the dictation in 10 seconds. So be ready. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mr. Deputy Chairman, sir, I am sure the honorable members are aware that we are facing a very difficult situation in view of the failure of monsoon. The flood situation has been with us for quite a long time, and so far as the agricultural program is concerned, I do agree that in spite of our best efforts, it has not been possible for us to achieve the various targets that we fixed for ourselves. To that extent, I am prepared to confess failure that in spite of our desire and in spite of our efforts, the production did not keep pace with the increase in population. But this year, the position has been made a little more difficult because of the monsoon failure. I have looked into the records of the behavior of the monsoon, and I find that within this century there has not been as much widespread failure of the monsoon as we have had during this year. Therefore, it may not be correct to say that it is mainly the failure on the agricultural front which has caused the present situation. This natural calamity occurs not only in India but elsewhere also. I was recently in Australia and I was told that they were also facing a drought situation which had not happened during the last 60 years, and they were destroying thousands of cattle for want of fodder, for want of even drinking water. In the same way, this year Africa has been affected. South America has been affected. Unfortunately, even in the most developed countries, we have not reached the stage where we are able to get over the tricks of the weather. Still, agriculture largely depends upon the monsoon and monsoon condition. When the rain starts, the water comes into rivers and streams from the hills towards plains in such a manner that our farmers and our crops are damaged due to it. And despite all these years of independence, we are not able to make any such plan that can make arrangements of irrigation by stagnating the flow of flood water or save the people from the havoc caused by flood. It is impossible to estimate the heavy destruction caused to the crops. Therefore, in a country like ours, when such a natural calamity occurs and if the production is affected in a big way, it is nothing surprising. It is this situation which we are called upon to meet. As far as estimates are concerned, there are varying estimates, but my estimate is even during the wheat season, we may be facing a shortfall of about 8 million tons of food grains. The rice crop also is not quite promising because in the beginning of the winter, rains have not been quite good, and fortunately during this week, I should say, we have had heavy rains in southern states and in the bordering areas also. Sir, agriculture is an important subject because 75% of the population of this country lives in rural area and is dependent on agriculture. It may be agreed that the success of an agricultural program, however, depends ultimately on what happens at the farm level, on whether or not adequate arrangements exist to provide the individual farmers with the knowledge, the resources, and above all, the incentives needed for additional production. However, in the case of commercial crops, the time has come to consider whether the existing machinery should not be further strengthened to ensure that these commodities receive special attention needed to secure quicker results. Sir, fortunately, our country has been blessed with a tremendous amount of natural wealth. Underground water is also available in abundance and can be best utilized to encourage irrigation through tube wells. Electricity is the basic necessity to meet irrigation requirements, but these are not enough. There is a need for support price for agricultural products. You will agree that there is need to formulate a policy that will encourage agricultural production and provide remunerative prices to farmers. The farmers in our country, not only after independence but before that, too were the victims of the middlemen who just extracted all benefits out of them. There was a time when our country used to import food grains, but our farmers took up the challenge and brought about a green revolution. So much so that today we are in a comfortable position. But due to faulty policies, our farmers do not get remunerative prices. As already pointed out, there is also a need for continuing vigilance in regard to prices. The current trend of wholesale and consumer price index reflects the growing pressure which is to some extent inevitable in a developing economy on supplies of food grains and other essential commodities. Not only is the consumer demand increasing, but with the rising standard of living, there is a shift in pattern of consumption from coarse grains to rice and wheat, and from coarse and medium cloth to fine and superfine cloth. The overall picture is one of promise or rising growth rates in the basic fields of industry, though these rates at present is somewhat below the expectations in the plan. It will be necessary in the months and years to come to strengthen the forces which contribute to higher levels of growth, not only in industry but also and more fundamentally in agriculture. But in all these cases, the government had been forced to take this step because of agitation of the relevant industry. In a brief statement on prohibition, the minister said that the future extension of the ban on drinking should be left entirely to the states and no pressure should be applied by the center. He regretted that the police, rather than the community, was the main agency for enforcing prohibition. A large part of the debate was taken up on the work done by various other working groups set up by the government. Thank you.